Please. Can you hear me? It's on now. Can I have your attention, please? If everyone will get your seats, we're going to go ahead and start. Okay, we're calling to order. We're calling to order the first quarter open board meeting for 2025. Will you please stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a few things before we get started. During the meeting, you can ask questions, but please save them till the end, till the meeting is adjourned, and we'll go into the open forum section if you don't mind. Second thing I want to do is recognize a few people. I want to recognize Jack Pasalugo and Debbie Cornell. They did an excellent job working on this room. They worked about 2 days getting all the sound stuff right and everything, and just want to say thank you and stand up. Also would like to recognize Greg McIntyre. Greg is our maintenance guy that works with CAMS and does just an excellent job for us, and we deeply appreciate everything he does. Thank you, Greg. Last thing I want to say about Jack Pasalugo, his name should be Jim because that's what I call him. Not J-I-M, G-Y-M, because he's always at the gym. So we really appreciate what you do, Jack. Also, since it is our first meeting, we would like to introduce the board members so you all know who they are. We'll start over here with Donald, and he'll go first.
Yep. Donald Bean, member at large. A little bit about myself. I reside here in Sunset Beach. Been here since 2008 with my wife and 2 children.
Julie Chortnoff, member at large. I reside in Sunset Beach as well. Been down here about 9 years with the husband and work with Riptide Builders.
I'm Roz Dolan, and my husband and I, we've been property owners for 23 years. We started out with a Champion, and then we moved here full time in 2013. I'm kind of a boomerang board member. I was president and vice president for 4 years, a couple of years ago, and I took 2 years vacation. Now I'm back, so glad to be here.
Hi, Jordana O'Leary. I've been here since, we bought property in 92 and moved here permanently in 97 with my husband, relocated from Long Island, in case you can't tell with the accent. And I've been a member of the board. This is my 3rd year as vice president, and very happy to be working for all of us homeowners.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn Smorowski, and my husband Michael and I moved about 4 years ago from Charlotte. We spent 25 years in Charlotte raising our children and decided to move to the coast of paradise. I've served on the previous board, and I am serving now again on this board as secretary, and I just want to say it's a pleasure working for all of you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jack Philibom, and I've had property here since 2000 and been here full time since 2009 from Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky Wildcat guy. I am a past vice president and a past president, and I'm now the treasurer, and I don't know what I am anymore. I just answer to my wife and to Mickey.
Go ahead, Janine. We want you to introduce, please.
I'm Janine Entwistle. I'm the general manager. I work with CAMS, and I'm on site here. I live in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, so I drive a little ways every day. And I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren.
And lastly, I'm Mickey Smith. I've been here, had a house here since the 1990s, and live on 123 Forest Walk. And this is paradise for me. Merry Christmas. Here you go. Okay, we're going to move right on into the general manager report. Janine?
Okay, so most of these numbers are going to be from December 1st to the present. First, we have outstanding assessments left for 2025 currently at $168,449. Our total receivables are $275,475. A good portion of that is fines on a few accounts. So we have 12 new work orders since December 1st. 6 were completed, 4 were not an association issue, and 2 are still open. We've had since December 1st, as far as things that have gone through the portal, we've had 881 items, and there's been 21,048 broadcast messages. Some highlights on what goes through the portal. We've had 124 homeowner calls. We had 1 after hours call. 13 closing questions, 7 collections questions. There were 15 compliance issues. 76 people asked for a statement to be emailed. 13 messages were sent to homeowners. There were 10 messages to the management company. There were 4 emergency check requests, 2 emergency incidents, 30 general questions. We processed 298 invoices. 32 new homeowner setups, 34 real estate closing requests, 14 concerns, 52 service and maintenance requests, and then there were 3 site inspections. As far as what Debbie did during that time, amenity cards, she issued 38 new cards. There were 11 defective cards she replaced. There was 1 lost and 4 that were updated. She set up 28 new owners. She handled 817 emails from homeowners. She had 804 phone inquiries. She did 28 directory registrations, and she attended 77 meetings. And I attended 52 meetings. Let's see what else. We had 112 residents who requested printed billing statements from her, and 42 needed help with the online payment system. We've had 23 new ARC requests, 23 and 13 tree removals. New construction pending, we have 0. New construction approved, we have 3. Design changes approved, we have 20. There were none denied. There were none resubmitted. There's none pending. No variances were granted, and then there were 3 ARC violations, and there were 28 ownership transfers. And only other things I want to add that are a little outside of what I normally add, we are having a new homeowner orientation on Saturday. We are planning to video it just like we do the video of the board meetings, and we're going to post it on the C-Trail website under CAMS. It will be something that if you have questions about how to navigate in the portal, you can go to this. There's going to be slides in there with some explanation of how to do the different things in the portal. We just want to remind you that questions and concerns should go through the portal, and that minutes and financials, that's where you'll find those. We try to make the portal is for business, and then the website is more for, committee information and community information and the calendar and the forms and that kind of thing. So just wanted to remind people of that.
Thank you, Janine. And to add to that, listen, this board is dedicated to getting you answers. That's one thing we're going to do. We may not get them to you when you want them and exactly the minute you want them, but we're going to get you an answer. So one thing we're asking, if you want something and you have a complaint or something that you're requesting us to do, please, as Janine said, go through the portal. Don't go to Facebook first. When you go to Facebook, all you do is light up everything in the world. And let's get the problem and the issue solved. Give us a chance. That's what we're going to ask you. And also about the portal, the beautiful thing about it is it logs it. So if you have a question, if you go on, if your neighbor probably has the same question, and they can go on the portal and say and get the answer immediately. So we just need your help. Would like to move now to the committee report. Just like to say something about the committees. The committees are full of people that volunteer here, that give it everything they got to make this place better. Every committee, every person that serves on it is deeply appreciated by this board. We are doing something a little bit different this time. We want to recognize 4 or 5 committees, and they're going to give a report today. But we're going to recognize all the committees and all the committee co-chairs, and we're going to do that through the liaison. They all have a liaison that is a member here on the board. So we're going to go ahead and start off. The first one is the ABC POA board. And for you guys that don't know what that is, that's the Alliance of Brunswick County Property Owners Association. I am the liaison for that. I am tickled and death and very excited about having, and if I pronounce her name wrong, please get me, Colleen Teifer. Colleen, would you please stand up? Really appreciate everything you do, Colleen. Thank you. Okay.
Can I do a quick plug?
Yep.
So the Alliance of Brunswick County POAs, you might have seen articles in the newspaper where we've been kind of working to try to regulate and help to monitor things that are going on, particularly planning and development in the county. It's affected the county, the unincorporated areas of the county more so, a little bit here in Sunset Beach. But we are looking for committee members. There are several committees that operate, and just like all organizations, it's a very small handful of people that do the heavy lifting now. So I'm going to go through Mickey and contacting. They have committee money. I've been going to meetings for several years and relaying the information here to be part of. I'd like to do a little bit better job. C-Trail is one of the largest committees in the county, and I'm a committee of one going to these meetings for several years, and we should be contributing. So that would be something that I'll get forthcoming, but that's what it is, and when you have questions, we'll be able to contact. Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay, moving on to Chapel on the Green Committee. Jodonna?
Hi. I want to introduce Kathy Blaine. She's been the chair. Kathy, please stand up. Yes, you have to stand up. She has a very large committee, and these women do a phenomenal job in taking care of the chapel inside, outside. There's someone there almost every day. You know, unfortunately, we did have to change the chapel hours. It's an access card is required for any homeowner. We can't keep it open to the public any longer. But Kathy, you do a great job. Is anybody here from your committee? No? No? Well, thank you very much for what you do.
Okay, moving right along, we got the Facilities Committee. Again, that's Jodonna.
Hi. We have we have our co-chairs of facility. We have Sylvia Chester, please stand up, and Jack Pasalugo. Sylvia is in charge of the actual facilities and what goes on for the various events, and we take care of everything inside each of these. She and her other ladies, I don't know if, Diane Kreuzberg is one, but she's having surgery, and I don't see Donna Morris. She's the other one. You do know that we come after every single group and every event, and we inspect these facilities. Diane does the MAC, Donna does here, and Sylvia and I cover for them whenever they can't be here. And we want to thank, most of you have been amazing in keeping these facilities very clean after your events, and we highly appreciate it. Thank you. And Jack is also co-chair. He's co-chair, but Jack is more in the operational end of everything that have to do with the facilities, the major equipments that we have, audio, of course, and the gym and fitness. And I'm going to turn it to Dawn. She's liaison for the gym.
Thank you. So I'm Dawn. I'm the liaison for the gym, as Jodonna had said. And the person that I work most closely with is Jack Pasalugo. You're going to hear his name mentioned a lot because Jack is very involved with many of our committees. Jack, is there anybody else there with, is Steve sitting next to you? Okay, Steve, if you could stand too. So Steve is his counterpart. And I want to say thank you so much because we've gone through some transformations in the gym. Some of you that do go to the gym on a regular basis can see that we have new equipment. in the gym. Yay, thanks to Jack and his team for the diligence that he put forth in investigating the type of equipment. But not only that, getting their hands dirty, moving the equipment in and out with the vendor, scrubbing the equipment. But I'm going to go ahead and let Jack expand on that a little bit. But I just want to say thank you very much. And I know coming up, you've got some other new equipment coming in next week, and I'll let you talk about that. Thank you. Oh. Well, did you want Jack to mention a few things or, oh, okay. Jack, did you want to mention a couple things?
He knows how to use that.
I'd like to thank the board for supporting us in replacing our old worn-out equipment in the gym, our cardio equipment. We were cannibalizing equipment, one unit to keep 3 of the others going. So thank you. It's working out real well. Next week, new ceiling fans, 3 in the gym, 2 in the multi-purpose room. That'll allow for better circulation and keep the cooling and heat costs down. So, yeah, we're trying to keep it nice and clean for everybody, operational, and it's a good team to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next committee we got is the Jody Hughes Library. Jodana?
I think you'll see me one more time after this, but we have another great committee. It's Library Committee. Chapel and library do fall under facilities, so that's why I'm liaison for the whole thing. Library is Betty Priskew, and I don't think she's here, but she also has a pretty large committee of ladies that take care of the chapel. They do inside, they do outside, they do bricklaying, they take care of the inside a lot, the outside they take care of, the books and everything in there. Just a big thank you to them. They do a lot of the grounds around the library and such, so just like the chapel has a lot of people. Thank you.
And we're going to pause 1 second here. I just want to tell you that we made a decision that all the committee information that if you need to know about a committee will be on the website and not on the portal. The reason it's not on the portal is that, Janine, you help me if I say this wrong, there's, let's say the roads committee, it's a drop-down box, and you have to pick something closest to it. So that's infrastructure, I think is the way it's done. So we don't want to confuse people. So we put something on there that says, if you have a question on the portal, if you have a question, please go to the website. So that's why that's being done. The next committee is Health and Safety. The liaisons are Roz and Jodana.
Thank you. Maybe there's another one after this one. I don't see Nancy Barnes here. She did say that she would not be here. Yeah, I know. She said she was going to be away, but thank you very much. Any ladies here? Anybody here can you stand up? Thank you. Thank you. Health and Safety has some really good programs. Unfortunately, the word doesn't get out early enough to explain exactly what the programs are, but they will be on the website. And thank you.
You did a nice job of putting them there. With disappointing in March, we had an excellent speaker, an excellent program, and not one person showed up.
Oh.
So we're not sure exactly what we need to do to get more attendance after we put out the effort, but if anybody has some suggestions or ways that we can get more attendance or be more proactive, I'd like to hear this. I'm Jan Manning, by the way. Yes. Thank you. May I just say that March. Can you come in?
Pull the switch up. Pull the switch up closer to the back. Yeah, just pull it up close. There you go. Yeah.
So the next presentation that Health and Safety is sponsoring is March 3rd, and it's going to be, I forget the title, but it's basically surviving the wildlife in our local area. So if you have questions about the gators, the snakes, the whatever, these are the people you want to ask.
I thought she meant a different kind of wildlife. Okay, the next committee is roads. I am the liaison for roads. The chairperson is Wayne Hellman. Wayne's here. And Don Boyd is also on the committee. So Don, you'd stand up too. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you both. The next one, the next committee we have is rules, and that's Joe Donna.
Hi. Rules is chaired by Sylvia Chester. She wears two hats here. And she has a committee, and anything that you have a problem with goes to the portal first. And then between Sylvia and Janine, they will take care of any violations that you feel you have to report. So, and it's also one of these, if you see something, say something, and just send it to us anyway. Thank you, Sylvia.
And anything you send in is confidential, so it's not like we come back and say, well, so-and-so reported you. If somebody reports a violation, it stays confidential.
Okay, next committee is social committee, and that's Roz and Julie.
Yes, Julie and I like all the fun committees. The social committee is headed by Jerry Esposito. I think I saw Jerry. There's Jerry, and is there any other members of the social committee here? Okay. If you all haven't, if you missed the holiday gala in December, you missed a wonderful party. And it's been, 6 years since we've been able to be back in the convention center. And the social committee did a fantastic job. So we really appreciate all you do. They've got, I don't have your report in front of me, but I know you've got a couple of trivia.
And then we have plans to do some off-site dining events in local restaurants. We feel that's really good to get people coming together and trying out maybe a restaurant that they thought of going to, but haven't gotten there yet. So a good way to find out new menus around the area. And then, of course, we're going to have the holiday party again next year.
Well, thank you. And thank your committee for all the good job they do.
Next committee we got is TGIF. That's not, thank goodness it's free, but Roz and Julie again.
Okay, we're also the liaison for TGIF. And Gail Treglia, please stand. Gail's the chair. Do you have a co-chair? Or is... Okay, Jean Kirch is also the... Okay, all right. And they do a great job of planning TGIF events, not every month, but we try to keep it on the website so people know, and I know they've had lots of food trucks and music and fun, so it's great, especially great for the new homeowners that have just joined the Sea Trail community to meet other people. So thank you, Gail, for all you do.
Okay, the next one is the website committee, Joe Donna.
We have an amazing person taking care. We have two amazing people. Candy Fowler, of course, is the chair. And then with her, Neil Weiss from Access works with her in keeping the calendar up to date, too. And Emily Shea. And the only one here is Neil. I don't see Emily. Anyway, anything you have with the website really should go again to either the liaison, not so much on the portal for this one, even though she contacts Janine all the time, but anything you have, you can't really go to her directly to say, post this on the website. Anything she posts goes through the board. Any kind of information, she's runs it by the board. But they're an amazing team, all of them, and we thank them very much.
Okay, our next committee is the Welcome Committee. Liaison for that is Roz and Julie.
Okay, for the Welcome Committee, we have Susanna Partrick and Deb Bird, who are co-chairs. Are either one of them here today? Yeah, I know. I think Susanna's out of town. I didn't know. I thought Deb was maybe going to be here. Are there any members of the welcome committee here in attendance? Could you stand, please? Susanna Smith. Thank you. Anybody else? We've got a group of probably, I think 19, 17, something like that, of homeowners that are in charge of welcoming our new homeowners to the neighborhood. And they do a great job. They try to find the right time to go. They don't want to come when you're unpacking, but they welcome people to the neighborhood and try to be helpful. And most of them live in certain neighborhoods so that they're kind of there as a resource. So it's a great committee. Thank you for what you do.
Okay, now we come to the part where we're going to have somebody speak more about that committee. The first one we got is the Finance Committee. Jack Phillibaum's the chair.
What am I doing?
Whatever you want to.
Oh, no, okay. I didn't mean it that way. I thought he said something else. I wasn't ready to talk about that. Anyway, I'm on the Finance Committee. I'm the chairperson. I have 3 members that are on the committee with me, and I'll have one here, Terry Long. Would you stand up, please? Mike Mahoney and Greg Barrett. And also on the committee with us is Janine. And what we do is meet on a once-a-month basis right after the financial statements come out. And we discuss the financial statement, of course, make sure we go over it with a fine-tooth comb, make sure everything's right, and we all agree with it, and there's no ifs or buts about it. Terry Long has a corporate finance background. Mike Mahoney is an investment banker. And Greg Barrett was the treasurer of our Master Association for 3 or 4 years, so he has experience. I don't know how I became treasurer because I said I didn't want it when I put my hand up, but I got voted to be the treasurer. But I had one thing that I never told anybody else in C-Trail, that I have what do I have? An accounting degree. So I never used it for this. I never did. I didn't want to get involved with it anymore after I got out of it. So, and Janine is the main person here. She does everything, and she is very, very top of the line, and I'm so glad to have her here. So if you have any questions on finance, don't come to me, go to Janine. Or
Okay.
Terry.
Okay, moving along, we got the pools, tennis/pickleball courts.
And
Jack?
You're so lucky that I'm not going to talk about the pool because I have someone here. Kevin Baldwin, you're here, aren't you? Yeah. So why don't you introduce who you have and then tell us all about it.
Kevin, come to the front. Yep. Please.
Kevin Baldwin, in charge of the pools, courts, and bocce ball court and horseshoe pit. So it's more recreational. But anyhow, we have a great committee, and there's a couple things that we're working on. The spa cover at Creekside Building has deteriorated, so we're building a new one. It's something that is unique to that design of the spa. So we plan on doing that March 5th, weather permitting. We have to drain the pool. So we'll have to send a notice out to everybody that it may be down for a day or two. We're going to try and simplify some of the signs around the pool and courts. So a lot of them are requirements that are necessary to have posted. At the tennis courts, we put up the new wind signs, and we're going to put the board back together, the practice board that kind of deteriorated. So we'll be working on that in a week or two. One thing that I get a lot of questions from homeowners is, since we have a year-round permit to the pool, are we able to maybe extend the length of time we have for it to be open? Something like mid-March to mid-November. In November, we had some great days, and it would have been great if they can do that. So it is permitted year-round. I talked to Paul, our Aquatech guy who holds the permits. He said that would even be easier because there's always a rush to get it open by April 1st. If that's, everybody, all the other pools are seasonal. around the community here. That's all I have.
And Kevin, we'll look into that. Thank you. Access Committee Liaison, Dawn?
Hi, I am the liaison for Access Committee, and the person that heads up this committee is Neil Wise. Neil, if you could stand, and if anybody else on the... He's also a comedian part-time. Is there anybody else from the Access Committee here? So please, thank you. I just want to say there's a total of what, about 8 of you that are, 6, okay, 6 of you that are on this group. I've been working with these gentlemen for the last couple of years. They are absolutely amazing. I just want you to know that they touch every single homeowner's life in some shape or form, whether it is, putting together, the access cards to get into our various amenity centers. They work they're just on call 24/7, and they work tirelessly to make everything work so smoothly for each and every one of us. And I just want to say thank you so much, because most of the stuff that you do, it doesn't go unnoticed, but a lot of folks don't realize what you do behind the scenes to make their lives so easy. So I just want to say thank you. I can imagine. And it's always fun working with these gentlemen. They're a great group. Neil, can you give us a quick update? Perfect. If we could look on the board.
Now we're really.
Yeah. You might want to use the mic, Neil, because I know you've got such great words to use and everyone wants to hear them. Well, I want
we have the board going across the top, then we have Dawn and the committee members that go down the bottom. Don Bergamasco, Don Boyd, John Hunt, Joe Kavinsky, Jack Pasalugu, and Chuck Scott. And they're the folks that make this happen. Without them, it wouldn't happen. They're the ones that do the scheduling for the reservations. They make sure people get in where they need to be in the time they need to do it. So I thank them for that, for all their work and their dedication. Next slide, Jack. This is what we do, an overview. We control the access for 36 various groups. That would be Pinochle, Bridge, all the other golf groups. We make sure that they get in the same times, different days throughout the year. To keep users in the group up to date, once a year we reach out to the group leaders for a current list of users and any group leader changes. Throughout the year, the group leaders will reach out to us to where to remove users. 2024, we processed 301 access private room reservation requests. Now that's a higher number that was submitted in our first report, because on some of the reservation requests, some people put in multiple reservations, so we count those. They have to be entered individually. On one of the slides, you're going to see the amount of people or reservations that were made for the rooms. Many times, due to these requests, a regularly scheduled group using that room must be canceled. If possible, we try and relocate them to another room. The communication that's needed for all these items requires many emails and phone conversations between committee members and property owners. The Access Committee also monitors the fire control system through the year, and once a year we have the yearly inspections with Johnson Control. We also monitor our camera security systems in the event of an issue. On this graph, you'll see the number of reservations that were made for the year. 198 in the Pink Palace, 19 in the Sunset Room, 11 in the Creekside, 69 in the MAC, 4 in the Convention Center. We don't make those reservations. The folks that made that reservation, they just wanted to see it mentioned in the calendar. And that's the total of 301. There we go. The Access Committee does their best to make it all happen. And I think we do a better job than our airlines do as far as scheduling. So there we go. Thank you all. Thank you to the board.
No, thank you.
When it snowed and the ice and all that, and we were having to make decisions, he had to take care of all the buildings and all of that. I mean, it's just one of the little small things that he does. And Neil, we appreciate you. The last committee is the Landscape Committee. Again, liaison is Dawn.
Hi again, Dawn, and I am the liaison. And Bert, if you could stand, please. Bert is our co-chair for the landscaping, and I just joined this group of gentlemen, and they are phenomenal. I have worked with them for a short amount of time, but their area of responsibility is tenfold. And Bert, are there any other members at the group? I don't see anyone. But in any event, Bert's going to give you a little bit of an update. But I just wanted to say that when you look at the budget and you look and you see the responsibility that Bert and his gang have, it's vast. And during the winter months, you may not see a lot of what's going on, but that's because they're preparing for the season ahead of us. And we've got some fabulous projects that are being addressed as we speak. Bert will probably go into a little bit about how he's broke up his team in little neighborhood pockets. We have representation throughout, including Oyster Point, for example. So these guys come together monthly and then, bring their thoughts and ideas to Bert and Michael Smorowski, who's also his co-chair. And they figure out, what next steps are for them. So I just want to say thank you, Bert, for everything that you do because it helps beautify our community. Thank you so much. And if you can just take a couple minutes and tell us a little bit more detail.
Do that.
Turn it on. Turn it on.
There you are. Thank you very much. Most of the things on this list, which will be very quick, I won't take a long time. Most of these things came from a suggestion from a homeowner. That's how our work starts. Someone calls us and says, can't we do a better job with this? Can't we get this a little bit cleaner? Can't we plant some more trees and bushes to get some little color? And that's how our projects start. And I'm going to ask for a raise, and she says I do so much. I don't always do that much. Well, yeah, double. I'm getting double. I try to answer the phone, and our committee tries to work with the homeowners to meet the things that they ask us to do. So here's a few of them. The wintertime, we just go around and look for things that died, believe it or not. And we try to replace trees and bushes that died. We replace trees in Eastwood Bluff, in Birdwatch, in Forest Walk, and in Seahorse Estates. Hopefully they'll make it through this year. The other projects, again, came from people who said, can't we do a better job? The first one was the Hourglass lot over on Creekview Drive. People said, it's ugly. No one ever pays much attention. So we started a project to try to clean up the tree rings, to try to clean up all the growth that goes up the sides of the trees. I hate when those things go up the side of the trees. It's ugly. We did a better job with mulch, and we planted some flowers that hopefully will add some color to it in the spring. And that was a very successful project. The other was around Old Georgetown Road. People complained that we didn't do anything in the buffer area between Old Georgetown Road and the houses. And now that the road is getting more traffic and they're building across the street, we got a lot of requests to try to do something to help that. So we've planted, I think the number is 30 trees that hopefully when they grow will be a better visual and will absorb some of the noise from the road. We've also cleaned up that area and put in some flower beds. And from what I say here, it's got a pretty good response for what we did. We're doing the median strip on Crooked Gully at the south end. We had a lot of dead bushes, a lot of things that weren't growing, and so we're going to try to add some color there so that as you drive out of that area or drive into that area, it kind of looks more welcoming. We're doing all the traffic islands. One of the things that drives me crazy is when commercial vehicles and even some of ours park on the traffic islands, right? They put ruts in the grass and it looks ugly and they ruin everything. So we're trying to put some growth and some plants in to try to discourage people from parking where they don't belong. For years, people and some people actually drive through them. So we're doing a lot on the traffic islands. We started over at Oyster Point, and we're going to finish up over at the north end and the south entrances where the commercial trucks always park, put ruts in the grass, drives me crazy. And last, we did remove some hedges in Kevin's area so you can see the sign better. And read the signage on the windscreens at the tennis courts. The things we've got to prove that we haven't done yet, and we're going to do them here in the next couple months, is we're going to redo the chapel area with some new sod and some new river stone to try to make it a little bit prettier because we can't grow grass there really well. So we're going to put some new sod in. And over on the other side where it becomes a mud pit, we're going to try to put riverstone and plantings so that it's more pleasing and more useful. In birdwatch, last year we put mulch around the trees, and in 2 storms, the mulch was all gone. So that wasn't very good. This year we're going to try to plant some jasmine plants around in the tree rings. And as I drove out this morning, I see they started that already. And so hopefully that'll do a better job than the mulch did. We're going to do mulch, obviously, like we always do in pine straw throughout all the common areas. And the last thing I'll mention is for all the empty lots, if you have an empty lot next to you that's not being built on yet, in April 1st, we're going to start the first of our cleanup of the empty lots. And we're doing it 3 times a year. So that'll start in April. And I do encourage you, if there's something that we should be doing, if there's a way we can improve the visuals and the landscaping around the common areas, we're not doing your backyard, so don't call me about that. But the common areas around Sea Trail, please let us know. All right? Thank you.
Thanks, Bert.
And can we give an applause for all the committees right now, if you don't mind? Moving on along, do we have any old business?
None.
No. Okay, we have none, so we'll move along. Our next part is a financial summary and review by Janine and Jack.
All right. 2025 operating budget income. Not the right one. I'm going to have to go blind again. Nope. I have it in front of me. I have it. All right. No, okay, I'll just read what I have here. So far this year, we have collected in assessments $1,797,696. That's as of 1/31/2025. And out of that 1.8 million, we have still about approximately $170,000 still outstanding that hasn't been paid to us in the assessments yet. We're not usually worried about that because we usually will have most of that collected, probably 99% of that collected by the end of March. And this happens every year. Out of that 1.8 million that we've collected so far, the finance committee has gotten together and decided that we wanted to invest $900,000 into CDs. We took $450,000 and invested it into a 3-month 3-month term, yes. And then another $450,000 in a 6-month term. And then what we'll do is probably continue doing that the rest of the year. We have collected $1,230 in outstanding fines. And we have also collected $45,307 to reimburse the Masters Association for the repairs at Rural Post. That's all I have.
All right. So now I will talk about the different, we call them departments within the operating budget and where we stand at the end of January. So administrative expenses, CAM's office supplies and processing is slightly higher during the first few months of the year, and that's due to collection of assessments and delinquencies. So you'll notice that where it says CAM's office supplies, that's because of letters and different things that we have to do as part of the collection process. And then just some various other things. The replacement, we had a replacement cost analysis done in January to ensure that we have insurance adequate to cover the assets of the association. Our insurance renews the end of this month. And so you'll see a line item for professional services in there that is going to be high in January, but it is budgeted through the year. So at the end of the year, it'll come to a zero. And then the total administrative expenses in January were actually $19,307, which was under budget for the month. So our next department is the repairs and maintenance expenses. We do have electrical expenses in January that are fairly high, and that's due to the purchase of those fans that Jack had mentioned earlier. So that's what that expense is. We did have a high cost under the elevator repairs, and that was due to the maintenance contract that all got paid for the annual. And then our total repairs and maintenance expense in January was $12,482, which was over budget $1,627. And a lot of that is due to the way that we spread the budgeted amount over the year and when the expenses occur. The next ones are payroll expenses, and that was actually under budget for January. Part of that is because of we are not paying the pool monitors yet, so. Okay, the next one is grounds expenses. The landscape projects, as Bert has already gone through, include the plantings at the tennis court and then cleanup of the buffer on Forest Walk along Old Georgetown and the cleanup of the Hourglass Island on Creekview Drive. And then I just took from the budget presentation at the annual meeting, I've highlighted in a brighter blue the things that we've actually scheduled or completed. There is going to be median improvements on Crooked Gully. That's scheduled. The Hourglass lot was cleaned up and that was completed on budget. And then as Bert mentioned, the Jasmine around the tree rings was scheduled. It sounds like it's now started. And then the Forest Walk, Old Georgetown Road cleanup and beautification was completed on budget as well. The next one is our pool expenses, and they are on budget for January on both the maintenance contract and the pool supplies. And then the final one is our utilities expense. We are under budget with $5,501 for the month of January. And part of that is savings in the cable TV because we went to YouTube January 1, and so far it's working well. Okay, so now I want to talk about the capital improvement plan and the reserve projects. Once again, I've duplicated the slide from the meeting that we had in November. The two things highlighted in the brighter blue is the gym equipment and the adding of the stair climber in the gym, which actually that was in the gym equipment purchase overall, which actually came in completed under budget, very, very far under budget. And then you'll notice there's a line through the tennis court lights. We had a quote to fix the tennis court lights, but after consulting with the committee and discussion, it was decided that they were not needed, so we are not going to do that project this year. All right, and then here's a stormwater update. As you know, we've had all of these stormwater projects on the budget for this year. Kings Mill is currently going on. We're waiting on some parts for it. That's kind of the holdup why they haven't been able to start filling in everything out there. And of course, the last component of it will be paving, where they've had to cut the pavement. We did have a few unexpected things as we were doing this Kings Mill project, so Mickey will probably talk about this later, but there's a plan for how to make up for that. So, all right, and now this one is the budget, the reserve budget for 2025, and I just wanted to show you on the highlighted blue. The gym equipment actually ended up only costing us $30,401, and we had actually budgeted $54,895.76. So that was a really good savings. And then, of course, the zero final cost for the tennis court light, since we're not doing that. All right. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mickey.
Okay. The next thing on the item, as Janine mentioned, is stormwater. What is stormwater? Okay, what is it? Okay. Stormwater is runoff produced in a rain event. It comes from the roofs, pavement, and other impermeable surfaces. The water feeds into gutters, swales, and stormwater pipes to funnel the water into our ponds, eventually into the natural waterways. The stormwater system is designed to control the flow of stormwater so it filters in slowly. Water may take up to 72 hours to dissipate on the ground as it runs through the system. The slow progress allows some of the pollutants to filter out before it reaches the natural waterways. The grass and dirt beneath and our swales are a part of this filtration. Our ponds fill into each other, and so as one pond reaches capacity, it flows through to the next pond. The system is designed to keep our natural waterways from getting polluted and helps prevent flooding from waterways being inundated too quickly. Okay. What you need to know is I got a buddy in New York. He lives here in Seatrail. He comes down. He's an expert in New York on stormwater. He told me everybody wants it perfect, but nobody wants to pay for it. Okay? He's seen that through the years. The next slide, Jack, if you'll show it, shows you that in 2024, we spent $459,000 in stormwater. It's not cheap. We don't know what's under that ground. We think to the best of our knowledge when we start something, but who knows when we get there. We have a budget this year of $300,000, as you can see. We spent on Kings Mill as of February 19th, $120,000. The remainder owed on Kings Mill is about $72,864 if everything continues to go right. Again, we don't know what we're going to find till we get there. Okay, so we have 5 projects left that we're looking at doing. It's $88,218. If everything goes good with those 5 projects, we'll be plus $18,700 for the year. But to get there, we had to leave some projects out, Jack. The next projects, as you see, 2 of those projects end up to be $26,550. Another one of those projects is $35,290. If we spent all that money that we were going to do and we didn't find anything else wrong, we'd spend $43,000 over budget. So what we're going to do is we're looking at a few projects that we will not do. Two of those projects, as you see, are the pipe at Rice Mill and the storm drain. It's not saying we won't do it. We'll just probably move it into next year. The other project, $35,000 is there. As you can see, is a pipe on the road near Jonesburg. As you can see from the slide before, we could be $18,700 above budget. And what we're going to do is probably work with the gentleman that's doing the job, see if he'll let us buy some pipe, either pay for that with the $18,000 or extend it into 2026. So we're looking at it. Stormwater, I want to make sure everybody here understands something, is not cheap. It is expensive to repair. We just found out this week, Janine and I were talking, Seatrail is 40 years old in November of this year, okay? That means pipes and everything been in parts of Seatrail for 40 years. So things are going to happen. So we just want to make you aware. Okay? Moving along to our next part of the presentation will be the Board of Quarterly Accomplishments by Ross Dawling.
Okay, some of these things have already been mentioned, so this is probably just a summary. And when we say board accomplishments, we do like to take credit for this, but as you know, a lot of these accomplishments were made by our committees and our committee chairs. So it really should probably be STMA accomplishments for the quarter. And these are the accomplishments since the annual meeting. So we had the pavers installed at Creekside. That was done in December by our maintenance technician, Greg McIntyre. And he also painted our max. He repaired and painted the max stairs. That was also completed in December. We made a couple of changes in policies. In the past, we've had a $200 room reservation deposit policy that really was a very cumbersome process and sometimes didn't make sense financially with taking checks, cashing them, giving them back. So what we found was it made more sense to just eliminate that policy. But we are still, the facilities committee, they do monitor the facilities so that we do have a way to go back to the person who reserved the facility if there is any kind of damage or facility cleanliness issues. And usually they're reminded about that. So we felt like that was really the right thing to do. The other policy change that we did was on paper products. We heard from a number of our residents about this. We had some like defined groups, and what we've done is we've made a new policy where anyone utilizing the facility, any Sea Trail club or group that's a Sea Trail group will be allowed to use the paper products that are provided by STMA. There is a process when they reserve the room to request that it is a meal event, and they will need so many paper products, and we are providing those now through STMA. The board does reserve the right to review this policy depending on how it goes and what the expense is, but right now we're hoping that we can do that for our residents. The other thing was the indoor hot tub had a leak, and we were able to fix that, and that was done in January 3rd. And then you've heard over again, everyone in the fitness center is very happy about the new cardio equipment that we got and got it under budget. So also our 5 main entrances into Sea Trail had a lighting update. And for those of you that go out after dark, you'll notice that the entrances are much lighter and really look very nice. So you'll have to check that out sometime when you're out late. Let's see, the other projects that are still waiting on completion. Again, Kings Mill stormwater repair. We did run into some situations that have extended the project a little bit, but when I drove by here this afternoon, it was looking pretty good. I mean, there's going to be paving that has to be done, and we have to do that when the climate is right. And there's a few, things to do prior to getting that paving done. So we're probably hopeful it'll be in March. I think that's what oh, you need the next slide. I'm sorry. I think, or is there only one? Okay. Yeah, so it says February, but we're thinking it's going to go into March based on the paving requirements. And then Heron Road paving project, I don't know if anyone's here that lives on Heron Road, but we think it was completed yesterday. I think that's, yeah. Pretty close. If it's not completed, it'll be completed after this cold spell's done. And then right now, Clubhouse Road, we have the median uplighting project going on. It is in process, and when I drove here today, I noticed 2 guys in some sort of, they were working on it. It was, okay, so yeah, we were waiting on them for Brunswick Electric to put the meters in and hook everything up, and so we're hoping that'll be accomplished here in early March. So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. There's a lot of questions that we get about things that are not on the STMA board. And Julie, will you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So in lieu of kind of reading a long declarant update for today, what they are doing is working right now on getting together a comprehensive update that is going to be emailed out to the community. And this is going to be happening within the next week. And in that community-wide update, there will be information that Mickey has gotten questions about, and many others of us have gotten questions about that may not be under the purview of STMA. And this will include updates on development that's happening. Again, even though that it's not STMA related, you're going to get some information on that. You'll also get some information on the commercial operations. Again, privately owned, but here in our community. So we're going to provide some information on that, and then some insights on expectations for the upcoming year. We get questions all the time about things like the VAC and all of that. So you'll get some information on, what, to expect about those things shared at that time. So that'll, look for that to come out in an email. And that's going to be happening sometime by the end of next week.
Okay. Thank you, Julie. Okay. That's our meeting will adjourn now. And now we'll go into the open forum. Oh, I'm sorry. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay. Okay, now we're going to adjourn the meeting. But thank you for everybody for being here. And okay, now, Jack, can you put the